Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, your home for NFL draft talk. Oh my God, we are getting close. We're getting real close to that time as things getting ready to start to kick into gear. We passed the initial deadline for players to enter the draft. Now I believe tomorrow is when the official report will come out of who was accepted into the draft. Usually most of the players get in. There's players usually that get kicked into the supplemental draft, but they usually aren't top tier players. So, but we just kind of like to wait and see that official list. But before that, I went and started watching a little bit of this, draft class. Definitely started with the seniors. And then I recently started peeking a little more into the underclassmen. So, again, just to reiterate, for me, I like to look at the seniors because I know for sure those are ones coming out. And then as we get to hear who's going to be declaring and whatnot, then I kind of wait until look at those juniors. But once the list is out of who's actually in the draft, then we start full go. Because if I peek at a player and he doesn't go to the draft, fine. But if I start writing a report and they don't go to the draft, that don't make sense. So we don't start the reports until the official list comes out, which is really soon. And that's fine. I think these sites this year needed the time, but excuse me, that's a whole nother issue. Today I really want to talk about my initial impressions on the 2018 draft class, and overall I would say I'm more impressed than I was last year. Now, I don't think the position groups will have the same amount of strength as last year, where you never have a year where they have the exact same strengths. Sometimes they're similar, sometimes they're not. But I think overall, talent-wise, 2018 is just going to have more talent across the board than 2017. And that's not even with the quarterback thing, because as we found out, and if you don't remember, you can make a whole large group of quarterbacks out of nothing if you want to. Now, and it's funny, and people talk about, well, why should we calm down the quarterback talk? Or when I tell people last year, chill out with, pumping these guys' draft status up for no reason. And everybody's response is, well, the quarterback position is important. And why wouldn't we? Because then you get a year like this where you got a handful of legit prospects and it's going to look and feel like last year when it's nothing like last year. Like when the music stops, somebody has Mahomes, somebody has Watson, somebody has Kaiser. It's not the same as somebody having Baker Mayfield, somebody having Lamar Jackson, and somebody having Josh Allen or Sam Darnold or Rosen. Those are different caliber quarterbacks. And so this is really why we should not got into all that business last year, because now we got legit players and it's not the exact same as it was last year. And so with that, the quarterbacks, that's always going to be the talk. And with a legit list of prospects, it's going to be the talk real hard this year. But I think overall, the strength of this class is going to be in the trenches. The one thing I will say overall, whether it's lineman, receiver, quarterback, whatever, I see a lot more football size this year. I don't know where it's been. I don't know if it's coming back or if it's just a detour, but there seems to be real football size again. Like linemen look like linemen used to look. Now the football around them and the offense and the schemes, those still look wacky, but you see football players that look like football players. And I know that's generalizing it, but it really is. You still got great athletes. You still got these linebackers, these pass rushers, these safeties that can fly, but they are so big and they're built. And so I'm like, man, okay, that's kind of exciting. You see these guys on the line, whether it's at Notre Dame or at Mississippi State or Oklahoma, wherever, and you're like, man, Jesus, these linemen look like linemen used to look, but they move way quicker. And so that's exciting. I mean, even receivers, I didn't really want to dive too much into names, but I have a list of people that really, really impressed me from the senior list. And one of the guys was James Washington, I believe, out of Oklahoma State, the receiver. And he's impressive for other reasons, but the one thing I find interesting is you just look at him, and that was hands down the prototypical build of a receiver back in the 80s and 90s. Like, there was no question. In early 2000s, there was no, comments about it. You 6 foot to 6'2", a little under 6'2" is what they want. They want you to have long legs so you can stride, but legs that aren't too long so you can break down and make cuts in your routes, and quick feet, all that. And so, of course, we're at the point where receivers is, like 100 flavors of ice cream, just like running backs, where, you get them any way you want, tall, short, wide, skinny, fast, short, explosive, slow, you do whatever you want. You can have long strides, stop, slow routes, jump up, explode, snatch the ball. You can have super quick, never going to make a yard after contact, but can always get you the first down possession. You can have whatever you want. And so, which is fine. I don't have a problem, but James Washington just reminds me of somebody that I've not seen in a while, because he looks like Dez. It's easy to say, man, he looks like Dez Bryant, where he's built, but Dez's feet aren't like that. Like, Dez's feet aren't made to be crisp like that and run routes like that. And so it just excites me, man. I'm excited. I think there's a lot more pure athleticism to strength combination in this draft than I seen not only last year, but in a while, where I really feel like, man, these kids are not only athletic, they're real life strong. And there's a few linemen that you don't have to watch for long to see that is the case. And I'll get more into that because O-line is going to be my first group that I look at. I'll be into that pretty soon, but it don't take long on this film to see, like, these guys aren't just big to be big. And there's a lot of linemen in the last few years that are big to just be big. And they can't functionally move anybody, and they barely can hold their ground. That is not the case this year. You got some hog mollies, as they used to say, in this group. But anyway, jumping over to the real grade, this week we got the Detroit Lions. What up, Detroit Lion fans? I should have said this up top, but whatever. Anyway, so real grade, look at a team's draft from 3 years ago, and we give it the grade because, again, you cannot grade a team on draft night. You can't. You have to look 3 years down that road and see, exactly what they became. So looking at the Lions 2015 draft, we got number 1, Laken Thompson out of Duke, for the guard. Number 2, they took Amir Abdullah, the running back, Nebraska. Number 3, Alex Carter, cornerback. Number 4, Gabe Wright, DT out of Auburn. 5, Michael Burton, fullback from Rutgers. 6, Quandre Diggs, cornerback from Texas. And number 7, they took Corey Robinson out of South Carolina. So, straightforward, 7-round draft, 1 player per draft. So, out of 7 people, you got 4 that are still on the team. Lakeland is still on the team. Amir is still on the team. Quandre is still on the team. And Corey Robinson is still on the team. So, 4 out of 7 still on the team. Out of those 4, only 1 person started, Lakeland Thompson. Lakeland was benched, but then came back in, with injuries. So for the most part, he's a starter. Amir splits time with a lot of different backs, but he's in the rotation. And then Quandre rotates around that corner, and Corey is a backup lineman. So out of 4 people you kept, only 1 really is a starter, and the other one gives you like some valuable minutes. Now, out of that 7, you also got Alex Carter, who is no longer in the league. And so he's a 3rd-round pick you spent, which is premium, and he's no longer in the league at all. Gabe Wright has been on 3 different teams in 3 different years with a lot of injuries. Michael Burton is with with our Bears right now. And yeah, so how do you look at this draft? I think you pretty simply give this a C+. 4 out of 7 after 3 years is pretty good, especially when 2 of them are 6 and 7-round picks. It's easy to lose them, whether injury or leaving the league. But to have 6 and 7-round picks, stay around and be productive enough to be on your roster, I got to give you points for that. Your number one pick is the starter still with you. Got to give you points for that. And your number two pick is still contributing. He's not just sitting on the bench. So I give you points for that. So overall, I would give the Detroit Lions a C+ for their 2015 draft. All right. So that is it from me. But of course, I always want to hear what you guys got to say. Tell me what you think about the 2018 draft class so far out of what you've seen. Who you excited to see. Anything else about the draft you want to know. Or if you're excited about it, just let me know. So go to the comment section. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and as a favor, please share it around to your friends outside of the Bears community, outside of the Lions, outside of anywhere. This is the draft. I love talking all drafts. So it's not just about one team. I want to hear from all the fans. But that's it from me. So thank you guys for listening.